processes in living organisms in science too. Okay, so subject science 2, chapter number 15, life processes in living organisms. So let's start with it. Now you can see in this picture, we will see many living things and the non-living things in the surrounding. In this picture, we can see the living things like human beings. One man is there along with his children, boy and a girl, and you can see the trees along in the picture. So those are the living beings. And there are also the some of the non-living things like vehicle is there, like a signal, and many non-living things you can observe in this picture. So in all living beings, some of the you can see in the picture there is a nutrition, respiration, excretion, then transportation, reproduction, sensitivity, and growth. So these are some of the processes which you can see only in the living organisms, which we cannot observe in the non-living things. We can see this nutrition, respiration, excretion, transportation, reproduction, sensitivity, growth only in the living organisms, living beings, but we cannot observe it in the non-living things. So these all the processes which are seen in the living things are known as the life processes. These all the processes which we can observe in living things are known as the life processes in an organisms. Now, can you recall how do the digestive system and respiratory system work? We have already studied this in the previous years also, that how our digestive system and respiratory system works. Now we all know that how our digestive system is. Now digestive system works like we are eating the food, then we are chewing the food, then it goes to the stomach and it will absorb the important nutrients are absorbed by the intestines, and whatever waste material is there is thrown out to the body. Now in this picture you can see the transportation. Now transportation is what? By the process of transportation, a substance either synthesized or observed in one part of the body reaches the another part. Now a farmer transports water from wells or dams from the canals to plants through the channels. We have seen in this picture a farmer transports water from wells or dams from the canals to the plants through the channels. Same way digestive and respiratory system works. Same way our digestive and respiratory system works. Now we will see to it that how our respiratory system and the digestive system will work. Now in the respiratory system, we inhale the oxygen. We inhale the oxygen. It goes from our nose. It goes from our nose, then oxygen which is present in the air, it gets combined with the blood molecule to form the oxyhemoglobin molecule, oxyhemoglobin. So that this is the combination of oxygen and the hemoglobin. This is the combination of what? Oxygen and the hemoglobin. So with that, this molecule will transport to each and every part of the body. This molecule of oxyhemoglobin will transport the oxygen through the blood to the each and every part of the body. So this is how the human respiratory system works. Now, secondly, there is a digestive system, as we have discussed earlier, that we have to eat the food. For that, then our teeth will do the process of churning. Then the salivary gland will secrete the saliva, where the saliva will get mixed with the food. Saliva is nothing but the enzyme. This is the specific enzymes, that is chemicals, which will break down the food material into smaller part so that we can easily gulp it. So it will goes inside to the stomach with the help of the esophagus. It will goes to the stomach, and in the stomach the whatever important molecules are there like nutrients, vitamins, proteins are absorbed by the small intestine, and remaining food will goes to the large intestine. Now here in the large intestine, the whatever remaining nutrients are there are absorbed, and also the water from the food has been absorbed, and whatever waste material is there, it is thrown out of the body through the anus, so that this is how we will get the uh, nutrition from the food, so that this nutrition will transport to each and every part of our body. You can see here we inhale the oxygen so that it will goes to our lungs and also in the blood, and it will combine with the blood molecule, and it will transport to the each and every part of the body. And digested food also, whatever food we are eating, it get digested, and whatever important nutrients which is essential for our body has been absorbed by the different parts of our body. Can see here. So this transportation in our body is done with the help of the blood, who will transport the oxygen and the digested nutrients from our body. Blood is the transport. Blood, they get combined with the blood so that it will get transport with help of the blood. As blood is present in each and every part of the body, blood is continuously circulating in our body. So with the blood, it will get transported to every part of our body as it is required. Everything is required by each and every cells of our body. Now, here is the definition of transportation is given. Transportation is the process by which a substance either synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body are moved to the other parts. What is the meaning of this? That transportation means transportation, how the food and oxygen is being transported in the body. And also we have seen the example of the farmers who take the water from the canals and transport it to its field. So that is how it is synthesized or prepared at one part only. Like food is digested at one part, that is digestive system, but it the nutrients of it is moved to the other parts also. So this is the meaning of the transportation. Actual meaning of transportation in the living being, that is transportation is the process by which a substance either synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body are moved to the other parts. So it is synthesized or prepared at one place, but it has to be transported to the each and every part of the body. Now, here are the few questions to recall. Now, we will see the first one, that is, why do we eat fruits and vegetables? Do the plants also need minerals like we do? And the second question is, from where do the plants get inorganic substance other than the carbon dioxide and the oxygen? Now, we will find the answer for these two of the question. The first question is, why do we eat fruits and vegetables? Do the plants also, as we need fruits and vegetables for our nutrients, does the plants also needs the minerals like we do? Yes, of course. Why? Because plants also have to grow. They also have to produce fruits, flowers. So they also require some of the nutrients and minerals. And second question is, from if the plants are getting the minerals, now from where they are getting these minerals other than the carbon dioxide and oxygen, what inorganic substance are required by the plants? So let's find out the answer for it. Now, here we can see vitamins and minerals are needed for the proper functioning of our body. Yes, we agree that vitamins and minerals are needed for the proper functioning of our body. In this picture, we can see the leafy vegetables and fruits. Now, when we are getting the vitamins and the minerals, yes, when we are eating the food, then only we are getting the when we are eating the healthy food, then only we are getting the vitamins and minerals in a proper proportion to our body. So we have to eat the leafy vegetables and fruits, and also the other like milk, we have to consume the milk. Then also the healthy food we have to consume, so that our body will get the vitamins and minerals in appropriate proportion, so that our body will function very well and we will remain healthy. So, for the proper functioning of our body, we should get the proper nutrients, vitamins, and minerals. So, and that we will get from the leafy vegetables and the fruits and whatever the homemade food we are eating. Okay, so we need to get the energy and nutrients, so that to get the energy and nutrients we have to eat the healthy foods which contains the leafy vegetables and fruits. Now, in this, as we require the nutrients and vitamins, uh, does the plants also require it? Yes, plants, as we have here, the plants release the oxygen and gives out the oxygen and consume the carbon dioxide, takes in the carbon dioxide. But along with the oxygen and carbon dioxide, plants also require the inorganic materials. Those are nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, and the sodium. as plants take as plants taking the carbon dioxide inside and gives out the oxygen. Along with that, inorganic materials are also required by the plants. Those are nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, and the sodium. Here we can see in the picture, these are the mitochondria, that is a powerhouse, and also these are present in the cells of the plant so that they will store the energy. Okay, and from where do the plants get this inorganic materials? Yes, plants gets this inorganic materials from the soil. And oxygen is given out in the air, and carbon dioxide from the air is taken by the plants. So how they will take in, so how this gaseous exchange like oxygen is released out and carbon dioxide taken, how this exchange of gases has been take place, do you know? Yes, this is been done by the stomata. These are the stomata on the leaf of the plants, green color leaf of the plants. There are the openings present. On the openings, you can see here, these openings are known as the stomata. These openings are known as the stomata. You can see here, these two are the guard cells, kidney shape, bean shape, guard cells are there, which will open and close. These are open and they can open and remain closed, so that the gaseous exchange will be possible. Surrounding there are the epidermal cells are present, and these many cells of stomata are present on the leaf of the plants, so that this opening and closing will do the gaseous exchange. Now we will see the transport system in the plants. Now, as we know that most of the animals shows movement, but plants are stationary. We know that plants cannot move from one place to another. So many dead cells in their body, they require less energy as compared to animals. As plants cannot move from one place to another, they are stationary, so they are having many dead cells. In living beings, there are no dead cells; there are living cells only. And in plants, we can see the dead cells. So as they do not show the movement from one place to another, and they require the less energy as compared to the animals. Now, here are the plants require inorganic material, as we seen previously only. This is the oxygen is given out. You can see here there is arrow mark outside. So oxygen is given out by the plant, and carbon dioxide is taken in. And also there is a requirement of the inorganic materials like nitrogen, then phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, and the sodium. So these are the inorganic substances which are absorbed by the plants from the soil. So soil is the nearest and the richest source of these minerals. The roots of the plants absorbed and transport them in the each and every parts of the body. The roots of the plants, which is nearest to the soil, can absorb these inorganic substances, and they transport this inorganic substance to each and every part of the plant. Now, plant have two types of tissues for transportation of material, that is xylem and the phloem. We have already hear about this word, that is xylem and the phloem. Let's study it more. Now xylem is there are, you can see in the picture, you can see here the dead cells. Now these dead cells are nothing but the xylem. Dead cells are nothing but the xylem. The xylem carries water and phloem carries the food material. There are two tissues for the transportation in the plants, and these are xylem and the phloem. And xylem conducts the water and phloem conducts the food material. Now we can see here in this picture which type of plant tissues are xylem and phloem. Conducting tissue xylem, you can see here the water is there is only a unidirectional, means from downward the water will pass to the upward direction, but in phloem you can see the in both the direction the food will be, there is a two-way flow, so that the food will transport from each and every part of the body. So there is a two-way, as we have know that how the plants will produce the food. Plants produce the food with the help of the chlorophyll pigment in the daytime. With the help of the uh, light, plants will prepare the food by their own, so that the prepared food is produced at the leaf region, the green part of the plants at one part of the plant, but it has to be transported to the each and every part of the body of the plant, each and every part of the plant. So it is the two-way flow, but in xylem there is a one-way flow only, as they absorb the inorganic substances and also water from the soil, and they will transport the water in the upward direction. But in case of phloem, the whatever food material has is being prepared in the leaf of the plant, they will transport it to the each and every part of the plant by the two-way flow. Here is also the function of the xylem and the phloem is given. How the xylem works, xylem will only conduct the water in the upward direction, but in case of phloem, it will conduct the food material in both the direction. That is in the two-way flow. Okay. The xylem is conducting the water and the minerals, and they are the having the stiffen with lignin. Lignin is there. Some of these xylems are having the dead cells, but in phloem they are not having the dead cells. They are made up of the living cells only. Okay, we can see here conducting tissue. There are two conducting tissue in the plants. One is xylem, other is phloem. Xylem carries the water and phloem carries the food materials. How many types of tissues are there in plants? There are two types of tissues, conducting tissues. One is xylem and phloem. Xylem carries the water and phloem carries food material. Now we will see small experiment to see that how the root pressure will be carried out. Root pressure means what? The whatever absorbed water molecule and minerals are there in the soil, how it is absorbed by the roots of the plants and how it will taken up to the upward direction. It has to be reached to the height of the plant. Some of the plants are very tall, some of the tree there are trees, so how this water has been carried out from such a lower soil roots to the upper part of the trees. So we will carry out one or we will see one experiment, so that we will come to know how the root will exert the pressure, so that the water molecule will transport in the upward direction. Now here you can see a periwinkle plant has been taken. You can take a tuberose also, a balsam plant also, but here we can here it is taken the periwinkle plant. Now it plant is having stem with the leaf, flower is there, and also there are the roots. So whole plant is taken here. Now you have to wash this roots of the plant with the clean water. The water is taken in the petri plate. This is the glass petri plate in which the water is normal water is taken, and with that water the soil from the plants has been washed away. Then you can see here this is the beaker holder. uh, there is a stand which is having the holder. Now here is the beaker, this is the stand having the holder, this is the glass beaker, this is the plant which we have taken, periwinkle plant. This plant has been attached to the holder, and it is, you can see here, it is deep in the beaker. Now this beaker is containing the water. Normal water is taken. In that, the dye has been few drops, like 2 3 drops of dye has been put it, like saffronin, or we can take the eosin dye, which is red in color. Here the saffronin or the eosin red dye can be taken, and we have to keep it like this only for the 2 3 hours. Now this apparatus we have to keep it for the 2 3 hours. Now you can see here how it turns red in color. Water turns red in color as we have uh, put 2 to 3 drops of saffron in or eosin, that is a red color dye, and we have to mix it with the stirrer so that the water in the beaker will turns red in color. So red color solution we will find. Then we have to keep this plant dipped in this red color solution for 2 to 3 hours. After 2 to 3 hours, what we can observe, we can see the water has been absorbed by the roots. The water has been absorbed by the roots, and this uh, water which is absorbed, we can see here it has been moved to the upward direction, so that the leaf veins, you can see this leaf, the veins of the leaf turns red in color. Okay, and also the stem of the plant is also turned red in color. So from this we can say that the water will absorb, or water will be absorbed by the plants and the through the roots, and it will move to the upward direction. It will move in the upward direction. Okay, this is the saffronin solution which is red in color. Here in if we take the section of this transverse section of this, and if we see it in microscope, we can see the xylem turns red in color. The xylem conducting tissues, we can see it turns red in color, so that we can conclude that will transport the xylem has transported the red color or water from roots to the upward direction in the plants. Okay, we have already seen this experiment to show the site of water movement in the plant. What we have seen, plant is left in use in red dye for about 1 hour, and cross sections of the stem and root are cut out and examined. What we have seen that xylem turns red in color. Okay, now how this water moves upward, let's see the root pressure. Now we will study about root pressure. Now root cells are in contact with the water. Root cells are in contact with the water and minerals in the soil. Water and minerals enters the cell. We can see here water and minerals. We can see here water and minerals enter the cell on the root surface due to the difference in concentration. There is a difference in concentration, that is why water and minerals enters the cells, and it's as a result of this we can say the cell becomes turgid. Turgid means as if we fill the water in the balloon get turgid. So like that the cells also become bulgy, so that it get turgid. So as a result of this, they will exert the pressure on the adjacent cells. We can see here these are the arrow marks. If this cell is turgid with water, water fills inside it fully, then they will exert the pressure on the adjacent the cells which are present at its sides, and this is called the root pressure. So minerals and water are absorbed by the roots as they are having the different concentration, and they will move in a unidirectional way in the upward direction. We can see here root pressure is adequate to move water up in shrubs, small herbaceous plants, and even small trees. We can see here the root pressure is adequate to move the water up in shrubs, small herbaceous plants, and even in small trees. This is the diagram of the root pressure absorption with the help of roots is given in your textbook 164. So you can draw it in your notebook, so that we can also see here that root, these are the root hairs, they will absorb the water. Then this water will travel in the upward direction. You can see here this root, the cells become turgid and exert the pressure on the adjacent cell, and they will move in the upward direction. Okay, now we will see the video for this so that we will understood it more in a better way. So I would like to share the video with you.
Chapter 2. Life Processes in Living Things. Introduction. We see many living and non-living things in our surroundings. In all living beings, some of the processes are common which help them to sustain and survive. These processes are called life processes. These life processes seen in living things are not seen in non-living things. Let's do a detailed study of some life processes in living organisms. Transportation. Let us consider an example to understand the term transportation. A farmer transports water from wells or dams from the canals to the plants through channels. In the same way, the human digestive system and respiratory system work. In the human body, the digested food and oxygen inhaled by the lungs is supplied to all cells of the body. By the human digestive system, the food that we eat gets converted to energy. This energy and oxygen is transported to all the parts of the body through our blood. This process is called transportation. The substances synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body are moved to the other parts by the process of transportation. For the proper functioning of our body, we need vitamins and minerals which we obtain from the fruits and leafy vegetables that we consume. Like human beings, plants also need minerals. Besides carbon dioxide and oxygen, plants also need inorganic materials for synthesis of food materials and for the proper functioning of other life processes. From where do plants get inorganic materials other than carbon dioxide and oxygen? Plants absorb carbon dioxide and oxygen from air through gaseous exchange, which occurs through stomata. The other inorganic materials are absorbed from the soil with the help of the root system. The absorbed substances are then supplied to the required parts through a transport system. Now let us study the transport system in plants. Transportation in plants. Most animals show movement, but plants are stationary. They have many dead cells in their body. Thus, plants require less energy as compared to animals. Plants need inorganic materials like nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, sodium, etc. Soil is the nearest and the richest source of these minerals. The roots absorb these materials from the soil and transport them. Plants have two types of special tissues for transportation of materials: xylem and phloem. The xylem carries water and the phloem carries food material. All the parts of the plant are connected to these tissues. Let us study about the tissues involved in the transportation of water. Transportation of water in plants. Root pressure. Let us perform an activity to understand transportation of water in plants. Activity. Let us take a small herbaceous plant like periwinkle or balsam along with its roots. Wash its roots thoroughly by shaking it in a container filled in water. Place the plant in a beaker containing water and attach it to the stand with a clamp so that it remains erect with the roots spreading in the water. Add few drops of saffronin or red dye eosin to the water. Stir the water carefully with a glass rod. We see that the water turns red. After 2 to 3 hours, we shall observe the stem of the plant and the veins of the leaves. We see that the stem of the plant and the veins of the leaves have become red. Now let us take a thin transverse section of the stem of the plant and observe it under the compound microscope. We can see that the cells of xylem have become red in color. Why does this happen? Xylem, which is the water-conducting tissue, is situated in the vascular bundles present in the stem. Xylem is stained by the red dye saffronin. This activity demonstrates the upward movement of water from roots. If the same activity is performed using tuberose, we get a similar observation. Let us understand how water is actually absorbed through roots. Root cells are in contact with water and minerals present in the soil. Due to difference in the concentration, water and minerals enter the cells present on the surface of the roots. Thus, the cells become turgid. This exerts pressure on the neighboring cells. This is called as root pressure. This root pressure causes the water and minerals to reach the root xylem, and the water is pushed further and further to eliminate the difference in concentration. This steady movement creates a column of water which is slowly pushed upwards. This pressure is adequate to move water up in shrubs, small herbaceous plants, and even small trees. After understanding about root pressure, let us now learn about the mechanism of transpiration pull. Transpiration.
Okay, now we have seen the video for the same. Uh, Now we will quickly revise what we have studied today. Now you can see in this picture there are living things and the non-living things, and living things are having some of the specialized characteristics or processes which are going on in the body. Those are nutrition, respiration, excretion is what? Throwing out the waste material out of the body. Then there is circulation, transportation, that is whatever synthesized material is there which is synthesized at one part is transported to the each and every part of our body. Then there is a reproduction, giving birth to the young one. Then there is a sensitivity in in this picture. You can see these are the mimosa plant, that is the if we touch me not plant, that is if we touch the plant it will close the leaf, so that there is a sensitivity in living beings, and also there is a growth. So these are the some of the life processes or processes which we can see only in the living beings, which we cannot observe in the non-living beings. Okay. Now we have recalled how do the digestive system and respiratory system works. For that we have taken the example of transportation, how the farmer take the water from the canal and they will transport with the help of channel the water to the field. We can see here this is the canal, and from there with the help of the channels the water is transported to the field. So water is at one part only, but it can be through the channels we can transport it to the field and many other parts. Here we can see, in respiratory system oxygen is inhaled by the human being. This oxygen molecule will get combined with the blood so that it will forms the oxyhemoglobin, and it will transport to the each and every part of our body so that the oxygen will travels in the body. And digest the food, whatever food we are eating we have to chew it first, so that the salivary glands will uh, make the food particles smaller particles, so that easily we can gulp it, so that it will goes to the stomach with the help of the esophagus. It will goes to the stomach. Then in the stomach it will be mixed with some of the digestive juices like pepsic acid, hydrochloric acid, and it will be neutralized, and it will goes to the small intestine where the nutrients and vitamins has been absorbed, and whatever remaining food material is there it will get absorbed by the large intestine, and from the large intestine the remaining water molecules and nutrients important molecules are being absorbed, and the waste material has been thrown out from our body through the anus. So the blood will do the transportation in our body. Now, what this is the meaning of transportation. Transportation is the process by which a substance either synthesized or absorbed in one part of the body are moved to the other parts. And now, these two questions we have seen. The answer for it are the vitamins and minerals are needed by our body for the proper functioning of our body. So we have to include the leafy vegetables and fruits in our daily diet, as we are required nutrients and vitamins. Plants also require these nutrients. And what are the nutrients for the plants? Yes, along with the oxygen and carbon dioxide they also require the inorganic materials such as nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, and the sodium. Now, how these gaseous exchanges in the plants takes place? It takes place to the stomatal opening. We can see here on the leaf there is a stomatas present. Many stomatas are there which are having the apertures, that is the opening which will close and open. Now, this is the guard cells which guard the aperture so that it will do the activity of closing and opening, and these guard cells are surrounded by the epidermal cells, so they get protected. We can see here the transport system in plants. The roots are the near to the richest source of like they are near to the soil, so soil is the richest source of minerals, so that easily they will absorb the minerals from the soil. So we can see here the oxygen is being given out by the plants, carbon dioxide is taken in by the plants, and the other inorganic substances are nitrogen, phosphorus, magnesium, manganese, and sodiums are required by the plants, which the plants will get it from the soil through the roots. There are the dead cells present in the plants, as plants do not have much movement, uh, there are lesser movement than the animals, like they cannot move from one place to another, they are stationary, so they require the less of the energy. So there are many dead cells present in the plants. Like example of dead cell is xylem. Now there are two conducting tissues present in the plants, one is xylem and other is phloem. Can see here xylem conducts the water and phloem conducts the food material. Xylem carries the water from the soil, and phloem carries food material from the leaf, where the chlorophyll pigments are present, where the food is being stored to the other parts of the plant parts. And now the small experiment we have seen, where we can see the movement of the water in the plants, transportation of water in the plants. Here we have taken the small plant of the periwinkle, then the roots has been washed with the water, then with the help of the clamp it has been attached to the holder and dip in the beaker containing water, a few drops of saffronin or eosin red color dye has been mixed it, then it has to be stirred with the stirrer so that the water turns red in color. After 2 to 3 hours, we can observe that the water travels in the upward direction so that it will stain the red veins and the stem of the plant, so that this leaf and the stem will appear red in color. We can also see in this, if we take the transverse section, transverse means if we take the transverse section of it transversely, if we cut it, we can when we observe it in the microscope, we can see the xylem tissues has been stained with red color. So the conduction of water is carried out by the xylem tissues. Okay. Now, in this transportation of water in plants, there is a root pressure. Now, how this root pressure is exerted, water and minerals are taken out, absorbed by the roots, which is the nearer part to the soil. The cells become turgid when filled with water, and they will exert the pressure on the adjacent cells, so that the water will pass to the other cells also, and there is a movement in the upward direction. Minerals and water will moves in the upward direction. So this root pressure is adequate as such that they will transport, or they will conduct the water from means it is adequate to transport the water in small herbaceous plants, also in the shrubs and also in the small trees. We have seen this. This is the diagram given in your in your textbook, page number 164. You can draw it in your note. So these are the few questions of the evaluation. You can write the answer for this. First question is describe the transportation system in plants, and second is write note on root pressure. In describe the transportation system in plants, on page number 63 of your textbook, the answer is given. The transportation system is given, that is you will include the points like plants will get the water from the roots, and they are the nearest part of the plant which present uh, which to the soil, which is the richest source of the minerals and the water. So such points you can include in this. And second question is write note on root pressure. In root pressure, you can write on page number 64 of your textbook the root pressure. About the root pressure, the one paragraph is given like root cells are in contact with water and minerals in the soil. Water and minerals enter the cells of on the root pressure due to differences in concentration. So the as a result of which the cell becomes turgid, and they will exert the pressure of the adjacent cell, and this is the root pressure. So such points you can include, which will help to the movement of the water in the upward direction. So you can write the note on the root pressure. So we will stop here only. I hope you have understood the today's lecture. Tomorrow we are going to see the transpiration pool. So before uh, attending the next lecture, that is science 2 lecture, read the transpiration pool paragraph which is given on page number 164 of your textbook, so that it will be easier for you to understand. I hope you have understood the today's lecture. So we will stop here only. Mayur sir, I'm done with it.
Yes, teacher. Yes, teacher. Hello.